So you're getting ready to go on stage and give that big presentation that you've been dreading for weeks. Right now, I bet I know what you're feeling. I bet your mouth is kind of dry, your breathing's a little shallow, maybe your knees are feeling a little bit weak. My name is Jack Malcolm, and I've been making a living giving presentations and speeches for the last 25 years. And I've been there and I've felt that. I know exactly what it's like to have pre-speech jitters. And in fact, early in my career, it got so bad that there were times that I wish I could get into a car accident before the speech so I wouldn't have to make it. Not one bad enough to really hurt me, but one just good enough to cancel the speech. Of course, that never happened, so I had to learn how to adapt and how to manage my nerves. And I tried every trick in the book except for one, and that one is picturing the audience naked. It wasn't just something that I wanted to do. But I gradually learned how to deal with nerves, and there's many different videos out on the internet that will tell you how to deal with nerves. So that's not what I'm going to talk about here. It was only up several years ago that I kind of stumbled across a secret to not only dealing with nerves, but to actually make nerves your friend and to help you propel you to better performance. And it was only just recently that I read the science behind it that shows why that works. Let me explain what I mean. Most people say that pre-nerve jitters are a manifestation of the fight or flight response, and in most cases they're right. Fight or flight is a condition or a reaction in our bodies and our minds that has evolved over eons to protect us in times of danger. And it does a sensible thing. When your brain perceives a threat, what it does is it floods your body with hormones and prepares you for that threat. One of the things it does, unfortunately, for a presenter is it constricts your blood vessels, especially around your heart, so that you don't lose any blood in case somebody stabs you or bites you or something like that. And what it does is also narrows your focus and focuses you on the negative. So that's not going to help you too much when you're giving a presentation. But fortunately, there's actually, fight or flight is not the only response that you can have in times of a threat or a challenge. There's actually three things that can happen, and fight or flight is only the first one of those. These three things I learned about in a book by Kelly McGonigal, who is a psychologist at Stanford University, and she wrote a great book called The Upside of Stress. And by the way, I strongly recommend that book, not only for pre-speech jitters, but for dealing with stress in your life in general. It's a great book, so pick it up and buy a copy. Now, McGonigal says that besides the fight or flight response, we can have the challenge response or the tend and befriend response. I'm going to focus on the challenge response here because that's the key to really help make nerves your friend. The difference between a threat and a challenge is in our own estimation of our ability to meet that threat. If we feel that we're up to it, we're going to view it as a challenge instead of a threat. What that's going to do is it's going to create a different physiological and mental response in our bodies. There'll be different hormones that will flood our bodies that will actually relax the blood vessels to allow greater blood flow for superior performance, and it's going to open up our attention, especially to possibilities and opportunities. That's the type of frame of mind and feeling that you want to be in before a presentation. So how do you get from the threat response to the challenge response? Simply by priming it. By priming it, I mean getting your mind to view it one way versus the other, to reframe it. And in fact, by priming it, basically what you're saying is that whether you view those pre-speech nerves as a hindrance or a help, you're right. Now that sounds like a little bit of New Age mumbo jumbo, but McGonigal has shown it in studies that she cites in her book, where people who were primed before a presentation or even before a standardized test, for example, or any other type of thing where nerves can be a hindrance, who were primed to view it as a positive, actually perform better. So what you need to do is you need to prime the performance before speech. Two ways to do that. One is, first of all, realize that you are capable of meeting the challenge. It's not a threat because you've prepared. You are the expert in that room. You're there for a reason because you know more about that topic than anybody else in that room. So if you go in with that mindset, and then the second thing is when you start feeling the nerves, don't try to fight them, don't try to manage them, don't try to bring them down. Actually embrace them and see them for what they are, a way to help you rise to the challenge. If you can reframe the threat response into a challenge response, your presentations will be stronger, more confident, and better perceived by everybody else.